Dear Paul, big fan. I was wondering if you were to start your smart home journey again, what would you buy? This isn't real, obviously, because nobody writes on paper anymore, but I do get asked this a lot, and so I thought I'll make a video and tell everybody exactly what I would buy. Anytime you think about buying something from the smart home market, you'll find there is more than one way to skin a cat. Alexa, how do you skin a cat?
I heard, please skin the family cat. Is that right?
No. The things in my hands, for example, they just listen to your voice and then ask a thing to do a thing. So I'm going to take you through every single category I can think of and just give you one suggestion. The second biggest question I get asked is Amazon or Google? And the answer is, I'm not going there. I'm not getting into that argument. My personal preference is the Amazon Echo, and the reason for this is simple. Every time a smart home manufacturer comes to market, they go, who shall we make a skill for? Shall we make it for Goo? No, let's make it for that thing. Every time. So if you want the biggest amount of versatility from the outset, you need to buy one of these things. Which Echo should you buy? Not this one! It's a big pile of sweaty garbage! You can find out why I think this thing is a big pile of sweaty garbage here, if you're interested. But the speakers that I'm recommending today are either the Echo Dot or the Echo Flex. And the reason for this is, they are the cheapest possible speakers you can buy from Amazon. And the reason you want the cheapest ones is because there's no point spending loads of money on a tiny little speaker. If you buy the cheapest ones, you can just Bluetooth them to a decent set of speakers or plug a cable in to a decent set of speakers and have a great little AI assistant that has a great sound. There's no point in spending loads of money. That's just my opinion, and that's going to make people angry. Great, you've got a new friend. Don't tell people you think it's a friend. This thing, you will be bored of it in 10 minutes time because there's only so many times you can ask it what the weather is like. What you're going to want to do next is control infrared devices like your TV, or your set-top box, or your AV receiver, or in my case a projector, or a fan, or any number of infrared devices that have a standard infrared remote. You will be told by people on YouTube, buy a Harmony Hub. Don't do that, they cost a flipping fortune. Buy instead a Broadlink RM Pro. The Broadlink RM Pro is capable of controlling all of those devices I've just mentioned and has a skill for She That Should Not Be Named. If you use the She That Should Not Be Named skill to control the Broadlink device, you can now control your TV with your voice. Definitely get a Broadlink RM Pro. So now you're on a mission, and you're looking around the room thinking, what else can I automate? And your wife is looking at you thinking, please put the wallet away. So what you do is you kill her, bury her underneath the patio, and replace your plug sockets. So this is actually a really easy one. If you've got the Broadlink RM Pro from the last segment, you can actually buy RF plug sockets, because the Broadlink RM Pro can not only control infrared devices, it can also control RF devices. And RF plug sockets are stupidly cheap. If you buy the RF plug sockets, you've got a Broadlink RM Pro, you've got a way to control those sockets with She That Should Not Be Named. So you're lying in bed and your wife is dead in the back garden and you're thinking to yourself, did I switch that plug socket off in the living room? And the answer is, you've got no way of telling. Because unfortunately, RF is a dumb technology. You can't actually ask your phone, is the plug socket on or off? Because your phone will go, I don't know, it's RF. So this is where things get a bit more complicated. You can buy Zigbee plug sockets that will report their state. They will tell your phone whether they are on or off, and you can just look at the phone and go, the plug socket is off. This will require another hub. So the RM Pro doesn't do Zigbee, which means you now need a Zigbee hub to go with your new Zigbee plug socket. You can have one of two choices. Either Samsung SmartThings, if you're just starting out and you want something basic and easy to use, or if you want SmartThings on steroids because you're a bit more of a power user, you can buy the Hubitat, and the Hubitat will open you up to more possibilities down the line. I recommend both of those things. They are awesome products. Pick one. Great, so you've got a Zigbee enabled plug socket, you've got a Zigbee hub, you can now control that socket with She That Should Not Be Named, and you can check on your mobile phone to see if it is on or off, or even use the app to switch it on or off, which is ace. And then you look at your light switch and go, I've got to get out of bed to go and switch that off, and then you angrily punch it and swear this is the last time I stand up and do that. So the next day, you buy yourself an RF-enabled light switch, which you can control with your Broadlink RM Pro, or you buy yourself a Zigbee-enabled light switch, which you can control with your SmartThings or your Hubitat. Problem solved. But you're not an electrician. If you've got massive balls, you can do all this yourself. I've done it loads of times. But if you don't like that idea, the other option is battery-enabled switches. There is a whole video here which will walk you through a whole host of different options that you can buy to use in place of a mains-powered switch that will control Zigbee-enabled sockets and light bulbs. You can just replace the light bulb with a Zigbee bulb and replace the light switch with a battery-enabled light switch. Awesome. So then you wake up in the middle of the night and you think, I've left everything in the house on. And then you look to your right and realise that your wife is miraculously alive again and asleep next to you. And you don't want to wake her up because she's probably quite annoyed that you killed her earlier. So you can't use She That Should Not Be Named, you can't speak because you're going to wake her up. This is where the little Zigbee buttons come into their own. You press the little Zigbee button, you can have a routine that sets off your entire house, switches it all down. You could also get little Zigbee door sensors, stick them on your door, and when you open the bedroom door in the night to go to the toilet, it switches the hallway light on. Zigbee buttons, Zigbee door sensors, Zigbee motion sensors, these are all good reasons to buy a separate Zigbee hub as well as your Broadlink RM Pro. Get those things. The following day, you decide you need to make it up to your wife because you killed her yesterday. So you load up the TV using your voice, the Broadlink RM Pro switches it on, great. And then you pick up the remote and think, why have I had to pick this up? I should be able to use my voice to load up Netflix and start Sex in the City, or whatever it is girls like. And so that's what you need to do. You need a 4K Fire Stick to achieve this. The 4K Fire Stick is easily the cheapest way of achieving this, and it works flawlessly. But not only that, when you then decide, I want to see the outside world on my TV, you could buy the Blink XT2 camera system and get that connected to your Fire Stick so you can see the outside world just by asking for it. The Blink XT2 camera system, I have been bleating on about it for weeks because it is, again, one of the cheapest ways of achieving exactly this and has a whole bunch of other features for the cheapest possible price tag. 4K Fire Stick, Blink XT2 camera system. So you're on the sofa, you're watching the TV, and your wife is pretty cold on account of the fact she was dead yesterday. And so you think, I'm going to go switch the thermostat on. And you get up and you think, why did I just have to stand up to do this? I don't want to have to stand up to do this. And this is where you buy yourself a Nest thermostat. I would never normally recommend the Nest thermostat because I do not like the company. They have done some fairly unscrupulous things recently. Hi guys, Google here. We have heard your concerns about the Works with Nest program being unceremoniously axed without apology, and what we're going to do instead is inject it with some poison so it dies slowly instead. That's it. I can't sit around chatting. I have some evil to be doing, so if you'll excuse me. Evil. You can watch that whole thing here, but unfortunately the Nest thermostat is the only thermostat that does OpenTherm. And OpenTherm, again, it's a whole thing, it's a long, boring topic. My dad is a plumber, and he says OpenTherm is the future of controlling your boiler, and therefore I can't in good conscience recommend anything else. There is Hive if you don't like supporting unscrupulous companies like Nest. Hive is almost as good, it just doesn't do the OpenTherm. So my recommendation to this day, despite not agreeing with them as a company, is to buy a Nest thermostat. By this point, you're clinically insane, and you're trying to automate things that are not supposed to be automated. This is where the SwitchBot comes in handy. It's this stupidly cute little box that's got a finger that comes out of it that presses buttons for you. And it's got like this little fishing line connected to a sticker, so it can actually pull the switch to turn it off. ridiculous. It works with She That Should Not Be Named. It's got its own app where you can just press the button and it switches things on and off. I love this thing. You can check out my full review of the SwitchBot here if you want to see that too. Can't recommend it enough. If you want to automate things that are not supposed to be automated, SwitchBot. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, please give it a thumbs up. That will tell YouTube's algorithms it was a good video and more people should see it. If you want to see some more of this guy, hit that subscribe button and ding that bell. If you ding the bell, you'll get notified as and when I upload videos. These amazing people here are my patrons. I can't thank them enough. I say that every single week and it sounds contrived now, but I really can't. They keep these videos happening, and without their support, I wouldn't still be doing this. If you want to be one of these people, you can do that at either Patreon or buy me a one-off beer at PayPal, and either way, I'll love you forever. You can hang out with me as usual at all of the Facebooks and the Twitters and Instagrams, and that's it. I shall make you laugh there, I promise. Bye-bye. They're not smart in any way, shape or form. They're dumb. You can't say... I don't know. What am I on about? Stop vibrating in my pocket, I'm busy. So it's the only thermostat right now that I can confidently recommend. Confidently. So you look over at your light switch and think, we're now gonna go... What language is that? With a finger that comes out of it and it presses switches. And when you want to... And the reason your phone doesn't know is because RF is a dumb technology. I mean...